They laugh like it's a joke, treating his pain like entertainment. No one sees him as a person, just someone to humiliate. He hangs there helpless, forced to relive the worst moment of his childhood while their cruelty keeps getting worse. That memory burns inside him. Every single day, he dreamed about getting revenge on the ones who ruined his life. Back then, he had no strength and no courage to fight back. All he could do was smile and endure. But everything changed after that incident. Something inside him finally woke up, and he was never the same again. The dogs charged him like monsters, and panic took over instantly. He thought this was the end. Cornered and terrified, he begged them to stop, but they only laughed harder and turned it into a cruel game. Right when he was ready to give up, a strange voice cut through the fear and offered him a choice. He was trapped with nowhere to run, yet somehow his body moved before his mind could even react. He didn't understand what was happening, but for the first time, fear wasn't the only thing moving him anymore. With his life on the line, something inside him snapped. Fear turned into madness, and he charged forward without hesitation. In that desperate moment, he made one wish only, to become stronger no matter the cost. The rush hit him hard. Every risk, every fight, filled him with a dangerous sense of power he had never felt before. Soon, betting his life stopped feeling scary. It became addictive, like the only thing that made him feel alive. And every time he survived, his confidence grew. He truly believed he couldn't lose anymore. For the first time, panic hit him. The bet he thought he'd already won suddenly started slipping away. His confidence shattered as he got thrown back. Reality hit hard. This fight wasn't going the way he expected. The proof of his arrogance dropped to the ground, and everything began to change in an instant. Someone watching from the side froze in shock, unable to believe what was unfolding. And in that opening, he moved fast and decisive, stepping forward without fear and taking control of the fight. Desperate and furious, he pulled out a grenade, ready to force everyone to obey him through fear. He started shouting threats, willing to destroy everything if things didn't go his way. But the calm voice in front of him exposed the truth. Those suitcases weren't luggage at all. They were filled with kidnapped children. A terrified hostage confirmed it, revealing someone important was trapped inside too, raising the stakes even higher. Shock spread instantly. If the grenade went off now, it wouldn't just be a fight anymore, it would be a massacre. He calmly points out the danger around them, turning the kidnapper's own threat into fear. The man screams and tries to regain control, shouting orders while panic starts creeping into his voice. Before anyone can react, he moves in instantly, closing the distance and shutting him down. In one clean motion, he forces the grenade away and takes control, leaving the man completely stunned. Holding the pin like it's nothing, he stares coldly and proves that empty threats don't work on him anymore. The man curses in rage, but before he can even process it, a brutal punch slams straight into his face. The impact explodes across his jaw, his body twisting midair, grenade still stuck in his mouth as pure terror floods his eyes. He's lifted off his feet and thrown back like trash, completely overpowered in seconds. Another clean strike lands, no hesitation, no wasted movement. Every hit is precise and controlled. He crashes to the ground hard, helpless and broken, while the boy stands over him calm, cold, and completely in control. The man lies there shaking, tears mixing with blood, still forced to bite down on the grenade as fear completely breaks him. Calmly, almost casually, he slides the pin back in and tells him to stop whining and get up. Standing under the dim light, eyes glowing cold, he makes it clear this isn't over yet. He's still in control. The man struggles to his knees, trembling, mumbling that he never wanted this, completely crushed mentally. From the side, she gasps in shock, trying to understand what he's about to do next as the tension in the room only gets heavier. The man finally breaks. Bleeding, crying, and shaking, he begs to end it here and calls it a draw, hoping mercy still exists. He promises everything. No revenge, no more fighting, even releasing all the kidnapped kids. He just wants to survive. The girl stands frozen while the hoodie guy stays silent, unreadable. Suddenly someone else arrives, shouting into the chaos, looking for them, unaware of what just happened. A familiar name drops, and the atmosphere shifts instantly. Recognition hits like a shockwave as someone realizes who just stepped in. The real threat finally shows himself. Calm, confident, holding a blade like this whole situation was under control from start. Everyone realizes the game was never over, and the real danger has just begun. On his hands and knees, shaking like a broken dog, he grabs at the boy's leg and begs to be spared. The hoodie guy steps forward, dragging two beaten men behind him, calm as ever, while the girl follows. The trembling man looks up in disbelief and whispers, "Instructor." The situation just got bigger than he imagined. Night settles over the warehouse as everything goes quiet. Just like that, the chaos comes to an end. The kidnapped children are found and freed, including the president's son, tied up and terrified but alive. Lying in the grass, bruised and desperate, the man still clings to the same words, begging for a draw, while someone coldly reminds him he ran from the company for 13 years, and those so-called rumors were nothing after all. Still crying for a draw, he's finally wrapped up and taken away, dragged off to Glory headquarters like the trash he tried to bargain himself out of. As the car lights fade into the night, he stares ahead quietly. The nightmare that defined his life as a killer ends here. At least, that's what he tells himself. The others gather outside, half relieved, half shocked. They joke about teamwork actually working, still trying to process what just happened. A senior watches with narrowed eyes. Too many things don't add up. Something about this feels off. But instead of pushing further, he simply tells him to cover up before he catches a cold. If he says he wasn't involved, then that's where the questions stop for now. They hand in the card. Just like that, it's official. From now on, they're recognized as killers under Glory. He stares at the rank printed on it. D, that's it? After capturing someone rumored to be S rank, the others start arguing immediately, saying they deserve at least A. The elevator display keeps dropping. B12. Lower and lower. Someone mutters how far this place even goes, and whether they're walking into something they can't come back from. Silence. Tension thick in the air. The girl looks nervous. He stays calm on the outside, but even he feels it. This doesn't look like a simple evaluation. The doors open. Two imposing women in red uniforms stand waiting, staring down at them like guards at the gates of hell. They walk in thinking they made a mistake and try to back out fast, but the doors are already closing and panic kicks in. A calm woman appears like she's been expecting them all along, welcoming them like honored guests instead of intruders. The team quickly switches tone, acting friendly and saying they're the people everyone was waiting for, trying to avoid trouble. The woman confidently takes control and tells them to follow her, clearly leading the situation now. She guides them deeper inside and explains that the president personally wants to meet them, since they saved a powerful chairman's son and heir, making it clear this mission just got way bigger than they expected. They're treated like VIP guests, stuffed with luxury food, while being told the president personally ordered special care for them. The contrast feels weird, but everyone is too overwhelmed to question it. After eating, they're dressed in expensive suits and formal clothes. The mood shifts from survival mode to something way more official, and the group starts feeling both excited and nervous. The loud guy starts bragging that the president must know them, hyping himself up, while the others quietly wonder what this attention really means and what's coming next. A massive door opens slowly, and tension spikes. Everyone's hearts start racing because they realize this whole setup was leading to something big. The woman escorting them reveals that the main event has finally started, making it clear they weren't just being rewarded. They were being prepared for something much more serious. The doors open and everyone freezes. Their faces go blank in shock as they realize they're not walking into a normal briefing room at all. A massive armory stretches endlessly in front of them, walls packed with weapons from top to bottom. The sheer scale makes them stop mid-step, completely stunned. Their guide calmly explains that this company supplies everything the Glory Killers need for combat. This place exists to arm people like them, and today is their reward for surviving. She casually tells them they can take whatever they want. The others' eyes light up immediately, excitement replacing the fear from earlier. One of them jokes about finally fighting with guns now, while the big guy nods like it's obvious. The atmosphere shifts into hype and disbelief, like they just hit the jackpot. The two guys go completely overboard, grabbing way more weapons than anyone expected, thinking this is their once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. Even the staff watching them looks slightly stunned by how serious they are about it. The girl looks at the display and hesitates. The blades are expensive, high quality, and clearly valuable, but instead of excitement, she feels uneasy like she doesn't deserve any of it. She reaches for a knife, then suddenly stops. A heavy memory hits her, and guilt takes over. Her hand freezes, and she pulls back. Inside her mind, she remembers the day everything went wrong. The thought hits hard. She couldn't do anything back then, so taking a reward now feels wrong to her. The guide notices the hesitation and politely asks if something caught her eye, while the calm guy nearby quietly watches, curious about what choice she'll make next. The tension shifts from excitement to something more emotional and personal. He casually picks a simple fountain pen and says that's all he needs, leaving everyone confused because with all those weapons around, he chooses something so ordinary. The guide smiles, but inside she's clearly surprised. The guy isn't greedy at all, and that makes him even harder to read. She quietly receives a call and responds respectfully, confirming the order from the president while keeping her composure. The team is told they'll be escorted to the president's room next. The others complain a little, but still follow along, curious and slightly nervous. Then everything stops when the guide suddenly says one word. No. The mood shifts instantly, and the tension in the room spikes. The escort drops a bombshell, saying the president specifically asked to meet only Kim Sung-gu, leaving everyone else stunned and confused. The elevator starts moving up fast, and the atmosphere turns tense as Sung-gu realizes he's being taken somewhere serious. She casually praises his choice, saying the fountain pen wasn't random at all. It was an old model with real history, something only someone experienced would recognize. She explains that the pen was discontinued decades ago, and Sung-gu stays quiet, not wanting to reveal too much. The vibe shifts from casual talk to subtle suspicion. Sung-gu gives a vague answer about it being an old family item, then cuts straight to the real question, wondering why the president personally wants to see him. She avoids giving details and tells him to ask directly once they arrive. The elevator stops and the doors slide open. The atmosphere instantly shifts, like he's entered a completely different world. The assistant respectfully announces his arrival, then leaves without hesitation. Kim Sung-gu stands alone, realizing this meeting was planned very carefully. The president speaks first, calm and direct. He says he personally wanted to meet him, catching Sung-gu slightly off guard. The man introduces himself properly. This is Choi Eun-chong, the powerful head of the entire Daeha group, and the weight of his presence fills the room. Instead of talking about business immediately, the president asks simple questions about the meal and the clothes. The tone feels strangely warm, like he's observing Sung-gu more than questioning him. Sung-gu doesn't waste time. He directly asks why he was called here. The president laughs it off at first, saying he simply wanted to meet him and that there's no need to be so tense. But then his tone changes. He steps closer and admits there might actually be a reason for this meeting after all. The air suddenly feels heavier. He calls him Student Kim Sung-gu again, slowly and deliberately, like he's testing the weight of that name. They stand face to face, almost nose to nose. No smiles now, just sharp eyes measuring each other. This isn't a casual conversation anymore. The president leans in and studies his face closely, then quietly says that somehow he looks exactly like someone named Pietro. That name alone makes the tension spike. Sung-gu's eyes shift slightly. He doesn't react openly, but that single word clearly hits something deep. The story suddenly cuts back in time. December 24th, 1978. Namsan. The tone turns dark instantly. A man is strapped down and electrocuted, lightning flashing across his body as he screams in agony. The interrogation is brutal and merciless. In a filthy basement room, men demand answers about Choi Yunchang's whereabouts. The prisoner refuses to talk despite the torture, and they grow frustrated, calling him stubborn and tight-lipped. The past is clearly tied to the present, and whatever happened back then is coming back now. The prisoner laughs through the pain, still acting confident even after torture. He says there's only one way to save the kid. He leans in and reveals the condition, speaking like he already knows their weakness and is enjoying every second of it. The truth drops hard. He demands a missile created by Korea and the USA, saying it must be handed over to the Soviet Union. The threat lands. If they refuse, the Daeha Group president's son will die. On the other side of the glass, panic instantly erupts as everyone realizes how serious this is. The situation spirals fast. Officials scramble to calm the president while urgent orders are sent out. The United States is called in, and elite forces are being prepared to move toward Moscow. The conflict is no longer local. It's turning international. The call comes in mid-conversation, and suddenly the mood shifts. The voice on the other end sounds hesitant, like something went seriously wrong. The scene cuts to a train rushing through heavy snow. Someone is standing on top of it, aiming carefully like this was planned from start. A target locks onto a helicopter flying above. The tension spikes because you instantly know what's about to happen. One blast later, the helicopter explodes in the sky. The so-called elite force is wiped out in seconds, completely outmatched. Back in the room, the report leaves everyone frozen. The president doesn't hesitate, though. He makes a calm but terrifying decision to move forward, even if it means going to the place everyone fears. The location is revealed. Choi Yunchang rushes to the so-called honor church, desperate and out of options. He bangs on the door in panic, shouting for the priest to open up immediately and identifying himself. A priest opens the confession booth and tries to calm him down, but Choi blurts out that his son has been kidnapped by Russians. Completely broken, he begs for help, offering unlimited support from the Daeha Group for as long as needed. He places his hand on the Bible and pleads for the strongest of the 12 disciples to be sent, showing he's willing to rely on something far beyond politics or military power. The priest pretends not to understand, keeping his voice calm while the father's eyes widen in disbelief. Choi explodes in frustration, shouting that his son was kidnapped and begging for real help, not vague words. The priest remains composed, saying everything follows God's will, and that prayer is enough. That only makes Choi angrier. He doesn't want faith, he wants action. The priest quietly reveals that the chosen one has already arrived in Moscow. Cut to a lone rider speeding through the snow at night, moving with purpose. An aide questions the decision, reminding him that multiple elite divisions have already been wiped out. But the priest stands firm. Even if it's just one disciple, they're clearly something far beyond ordinary forces. The train slows in the middle of a snowstorm. A lone figure steps off the rear carriage, moving without hesitation. A gloved hand grips the door firmly. A calm voice echoes in the cold night, saying that even alone, he is enough. The reason is simple. The priest's son is the strongest among them. The door opens, and the man steps inside. Snow swirls behind him as he removes his hat, revealing a composed, sharp gaze. No rush, no fear. Inside the carriage, armed men freeze in shock. They can't understand how he got in so easily, and the realization hits harder than anything else. The room goes silent for a second as he calmly confirms it, and the others freeze, not understanding what he just implied. Before anyone can react, he moves first. One clean shot drops the leader instantly, shocking everyone around him. Gunfire erupts everywhere, but he keeps moving through the chaos like it's nothing, firing with precise control. In seconds, the entire carriage turns into a battlefield. Bodies drop one after another while he walks straight through the crossfire without hesitation. Even the prisoners watching can't believe it. The man who walked in alone just wiped out everyone, repeating calmly that yes, everything happened exactly as they feared. He walks forward without hesitation, gun raised, eyes cold. The people in front of him don't even dare to move. He knows exactly how much control he has here. His boots stop at the doorway. The sound alone is enough to silence the room. Everyone understands this isn't a bluff anymore. From inside the carriage, the situation becomes clear. A man grips a child from behind, gun pressed to the boy's head. The warning is simple and deadly serious. Snow falls outside as the train cuts through the night. His reputation arrives before he does. A man whispered about as someone who always survives. Hands slowly rise into the air. Calm, steady, not fear but confidence. He introduces himself. Knowing his name alone carries pressure. He casually calls out a name. Not shouting, not threatening. Just enough to show he already knows who he's dealing with. The hostage-taker stiffens. The boy's face tightens in panic as the gun presses closer. The threat turns cruel. A simple countdown, meant to force obedience through fear. One finger goes up. The count begins. The room holds its breath, but he doesn't even flinch. The second count follows. The hostage-taker is screaming now, losing control. Anger replacing strategy. 3. His hand closes around a coin, calm and deliberate. Even now, he moves like he's already seen the outcome. In a single instant, he moves. No warning, no wasted motion. The distance disappears as he charges straight through the carriage. The threat ends before it can finish forming. Blood splashes, the hostage-taker collapses, and the danger is gone as casually as it began. Standing over the fallen body, he speaks calmly, switching languages like it never mattered. His voice is steady, almost polite. The boy finally breathes again. Fear drains from his face as gratitude takes over. He bows his head, still shaking. He lights a cigarette without looking back. Smoke curls in the warm air as promises of repayment are made. He listens, silent, already moving on. He places a firm hand on the boy's head and calls his name again. Not gentle, not rough, just grounding him back to reality. He makes it clear why he's here. This was never about saving one life. It was about protecting the future of something much bigger. Without waiting for an answer, he turns and walks away. The boy scrambles to his feet and follows, unable to look away. To him, that back looks unstoppable. Time passes. Decades later, the memory still hasn't faded. Survival became life, and life became a story he never forgot. Now, face to face again, after 40 years, the past finally speaks. A calm question hangs in the air, heavy with meaning. The name hits him hard. Just one word, but it carries decades of memory. His eyes narrow, searching for a familiar shadow in the face before him. Realization settles in. The resemblance is undeniable. Youth eyes presence. He finally understands whose blood this is. For the first time, he admits it. Someone actually scared him back then. And that fragile boy is standing here now alive. Time reframes everything. The weak child from the past has grown into a man with weight and direction. Not loud, but solid. As they walk side by side, the question comes naturally. Why limit yourself to a pen when an entire arsenal was available? The answer is simple. Some tools are enough. He decides without hesitation. It doesn't matter anymore. He won't let the grandson of that man walk away empty-handed. The memory surfaces. Long ago, in a moment buried by time, the same kind of machine saved his life. History quietly repeats itself. The gift is revealed. Not just a vehicle, but the peak of Daewoo Group's technology, built with absolute confidence. Every detail speaks danger and freedom. Extreme speed. Total stealth. A machine designed for missions where being seen means dying. The reaction is instant. Awe, excitement, disbelief. But the adults cut it short. This isn't a toy, and he's still just a kid. He tries to negotiate, half joking, half serious. Trading weapons for something simpler sounds tempting, but the answer comes back instantly. No deal. Before anyone can react, the helmet is already in her hands. She freezes, confused, caught between curiosity and shock. There's no debate. He's already on the bike, Pulling the helmet on like this was decided long ago. It's happening whether they like it or not. The protests come late. Someone complains, someone doubts him, someone questions his sanity. None of it slows him down. The phone lights up mid-moment. A familiar name fills the screen. Teacher. The scene cuts, and suddenly, a calm adult voice answers, asking the simplest question of all. Did you have fun? The message comes through clearly. Glory wants to see them. Not out of kindness, but curiosity. A full team recruited at once is rare, and rare things attract predators. He doesn't look worried. If anything, the idea amuses him. New blood always excites old killers, and he knows exactly how that game works. Out on the road, the chase begins. Scooters struggle to keep up as the bike cuts through traffic with ease. Speed becomes distance, and distance becomes safety. Back at the desk, the order is given without drama. Let them go, and make sure everyone hears the name. The destination stands tall and silent. Glory Club's branch west of the Han River. Habjong Honor Church. The stage is set, and the monster newbie has arrived. He rubs his head with a tired smile. Fame spreads fast, and attention always follows. Being noticed isn't power. It's a hassle. They stop in front of the entrance. One last check. A quiet question hangs in the air, mixed with concern. Too many eyes are waiting inside. The doors stand closed, heavy and imposing. Whatever's beyond them isn't casual. This place was built to test people. Without hesitation, a hand presses forward. The decision is made. No more guessing, no more standing outside. The moment they step in, her breath catches. Light, scale presence. It's overwhelming. This isn't just a club. This is something else entirely. This place isn't just a church. It's where revelations are given. A holy-looking hall masking something far more practical and dangerous. People sit quietly, heads bowed, praying like believers. But they aren't asking for salvation. They're waiting for work. At the front, rituals replace briefings. Missions are handed out under sacred words, wrapped in faith to make them easier to swallow. A token changes hands. A simple object, light in weight, heavy in meaning. A B-rank mission. Nothing special. Nothing glorious. She finally understands. This is how low-ranking killers live. Quiet prayers, small missions, slow survival. And standing here, they clearly don't belong to this level. The excitement is obvious. One of them leans in, grinning, eager to compare missions. Whatever he got, he clearly thinks it's something special. The truth lands hard. 2 identical tokens. One word on both. Fight. The smile fades as confusion sets in. Reality sinks in fast. This isn't a ceremony invite or a welcome task. It's straight to combat. No warm-up. No protection. The man in robe smiles kindly as he explains. Newcomers don't receive missions here. Not officially, at least. Instead, they're given something else. Holy blood. Sweet-smelling, tempting, and dangerous. To him, it's generosity. To the others watching closely, it's bait. He asks casually, almost amused. How does it taste? The question sounds harmless, but something about the smile feels off. Blood spills down his face. The sweetness turns sharp, overwhelming. In that instant, he realizes this isn't a blessing. It's humiliation dressed as mercy. The priest's tone changes. The warmth is gone. They weren't late guests. They were expected. The smile stretches wider in the dark. Mockery replaces kindness. Rank matters here, and there's his rock bottom. Blood splatters from the leader's head as he stands frozen in place. The father pours red liquid over the leader's head while asking, "I ess it good?" A man with red hair snarls through the rain. "We waited for you rascals to come. You fucking D-rank bastards." A woman bites into a round object, revealing a paper labeled "Fight" inside. The bloodied man in the black suit leans forward, eyes locked, demanding, "Are you one of them? Just?" A group gathers silently near the altar, their eyes fixed on the sunlight streaming through the cathedral windows. The leader adjusts his jacket calmly, while the injured man steps on a pew, tension mounting in the church. Father smirks confidently, firing back, "Ludicrous bastards. You have absolutely no idea what being a deranker means. The woman in the dark suit stares coldly, her scarred face tense as she snaps, "Of course we don't." The man in suit kicks the father, who raises his hand in a defensive gesture while delivering a sharp warning. After all, we weren't born to be derankers. Two men in suits strike the scar man with a punch and a kick, shouting, "Remember, we're the Daco brothers who will become S-rank disciples." Leader calls out sharply, "That juicy is annoying for a B-ranker. I guess we should stop fooling around." Father kicks fiercely at the two men in brown suits rushing him. The woman in the dark suit reacts with surprise, eyes wide as she processes the sudden shift in strength. Father crouches low, moving swiftly across the floor with a sharp, "What?" breaking the silence. The man in the dark suit rushes forward while the man in the leader glances back, shouting, "Where did the smaller guy go?" Forcefully kicks off the shoe, sending it skidding across the wooden floor. The man in the black suit suddenly grabs the man and the someone from behind, flashing a smile as he taunts, "Looking for me?" A gang member shouts, "J.E." with fierce urgency, raises his arms to block the incoming strike from the man in the white robe. Blood splatters across the scarred man's face as the question cuts deep. "Did you dream about becoming like father?" Leader grips a bloodied wooden club, smiling as he recalls, "I did too when I was your age." Father struggles to break free, pulling his wooden club while the man on throne firmly restrains his wrist, warning, "Should stop fooling around." A sharp scream breaks the tense silence as both fathers react with shock and seriousness. Shouting, "Jay!" the leader reaches out desperately, blood staining his face. Man punching lands a solid punch to the brown-haired man's face. A woman in a dark suit shouts, "Stop," while raising her hand, demanding an explanation. Father leans on Pietro for support as the other father watches silently, tension thick in the air. Father strikes the man lying on the floor with a wooden club inside the church. The man in suit kneels, bleeding and held hostage at knife point by the group of men in the alley. Masked man with knife grabs the wrist of the man in dark shirt as three men in military uniform shout orders. The man on throne grips his gun tightly, while the masked man with knife stands ready, the soldier injured clutching his chest nearby. The man in cap pins the injured man firmly, warning, "In order to reach the top of glory, you'll have to give it your all to the point of vomiting blood." The young man with scars explains, "Becoming an A-ranker requires dedicating your whole life to being a killer," while Pietro listens with a slight smile. Pietro tightly clasps the rosary, whispering, "Finally, there are killers who stand on the peak, the 12 disciples." A group of men in suits stands firm, clutching prayer beads as one declares, "This is who disciples are." Father chokes the injured man against the wooden wall, his grip tight as he demands, "Kid, do you want me to tell you how to become a disciple?" The man in the black suit struggles to speak through blood and bruises, barely managing, "What the hell? Do you?" Father raises his fist with a confident smile, declaring, "Just be reborn." A fist slams into the man in dark shirt's face with brutal speed. Two men stand on the red carpet, surrounded by fallen opponents and jeering onlookers. The girl speaks with a concerned expression, saying, "T.O. go this far? Hey, you girl." Father pokes the woman's forehead with a mocking grin as she recoils in surprise. A woman in a dark suit forcefully grabs Pietro's wrist as he tries to pull away. Father demands, "Please don't cross the line, senior," while another voice snaps, "Who's this bastard?" Gripping the arm fiercely, the woman snarls, "You bastard." As the struggle intensifies, the young man shouts, "Are you picking a fight with me?" with a fierce glare. An angry woman grabs Pietro's hoodie, shouting accusations and disbelief at his victory. A heated argument erupts as the woman warns, "With your skills, it's only a matter of time before glory becomes suspicious of you," while the man listens silently and the dog with vest stays seated. Leader steels himself, muttering, "To backstab these bastards, I need to hide behind the facade of being a deranker." A sharp slap cracks across the leader's face as the harsh words cut through the air. She covers her mouth and mocks. You look like a gigolo. Are you trying to act tough in front of the father? A scarred man raises his hand, flashing a sharp smile as he says, "What?" The man in the black suit stays silent, his expression unreadable beneath the blood splatter. The man in suit kneels beside the injured man lying on the floor, pleading urgently to take them to a hospital. The man in suit with bruised face pleads, "So, please." Father snaps his fingers with a sharp smile, declaring, "Fine, we'll end it here." Extends a hand with a firm, deliberate gesture, saying instead. The man with no eyebrows extends his hand and calmly demands, "Give up your volunteer licenses." Man in black suit glances back just as a hand reaches toward him. A scarred man smiles slyly, taunting, "Come back for it after you grow up big and strong." The man in suit kicking supports the injured man lying on the floor as they move forward past the church. One man supports the other, gripping his shoulder as he gasps, "Seriously, what was that?" The leader struggles to explain. "If we say we lost our licenses, then he's going to pull out all of our hair." While Father listens intently, man in black suit holds his head, voice heavy with regret. "Sorry, Lee Yuna Kim Sungdu. We couldn't protect you." Narrows eyes while arguing, "But you did well not to get involved." Breathing out with a tired sigh, the leader admits, "I'm the leader, so I need to show you guys only my cool side." Pietro firmly places a hand on the leader's helmet, urging, "Let's go, leader." Removes the helmet from the crying man, declaring, "It's time to eat." The church towers stand tall against the sunset sky as a determined voice shouts, "Yeah." The motorcycle wheel spins fiercely, gripping the rough road beneath it. The motorcycle rider speeds across the bridge with the passenger gripping tight, the city skyline blurring behind them. The motorcycle rider speeds down the road with the passenger gripping tightly, shouting, "Hey, Kim, SONGL." A determined gaze locks on the sky, silently asking, "What can I do to get stronger?" The person wearing a helmet fires off sharp questions, demanding, "Don't ask stupid things." Asks, "Are you all right?" "What do you mean?" With a tense edge. Three men smile confidently, holding up volunteer ID cards as the young man taunts, "You got them taken away." The person riding motorcycle speeds down the road, shouting harsh truths over the roar of the engine. Two men in suits speed down the street on a motorcycle, helmets locked in place. Pietro's calm smile holds steady, eyes sharp despite the tension. Grabbing the jacket with a firm grip, the girl tightens her hold as tension builds. Person with red eye behind, helmet narrows their gaze, locking onto the target with sharp focus. Rides a motorcycle across the bridge at sunset, muttering, "So annoying." The group stands outside the church, catching their breath and airing their frustrations. Voices echo through the metal bars, trading sharp words about survival and past threats. Two fathers in white robes exchange teasing remarks, one smiling while the other crosses his arms. Father's smile twists into something sharper, eyes burning with a violent edge as he mutters, "Huh." The man sitting on the pew hears the chilling words, "He won't be able to become an adult now." Pietro taunts while gripping rosary beads, mocking the silence with a sharp laugh. Pietro grips the rosary beads tightly, questioning, "Did you really need to go that far?" Father taunts with a fierce grin, challenging, "Did that bastard not get hit enough?" Places a hand firmly on the window ledge, eyes locked on the target beyond. Two voices declare, "What you have never seen in your life and what you will never see again." Pietro grips the rosary beads tightly, a faint smile crossing his face as he mutters, "The skills." The words of an S-rank disciple hang heavy, cutting through the tension like a blade.